What's up guys, FuryTV here, and we're back with another episode of Poker Hands. Before getting into it, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy our videos, as your support is allowing us to continue posting videos on a daily basis.
Does that. That's freaking crazy. I say something, they go nines, ace, like to get it right. Not even like off by
like
one.
Nines.
Huh? Felt like nines?
That size felt like nines.
Well, it was basically all in. I mean, I was... the size felt...
How much do you have done?
I had two, a little less than two. Now
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Nice.
1.2, 1.7, 1.8.
Yeah, no. I just want to know what I'm...
2.2-ish.
What I'm aiming into. Thanks.
Corancello saying, wow, Negreanu and the squid at the same table. It's going to be a fun one, ladies and gentlemen.
Martin Cabral, maybe? I don't know. It looks like Martin Cabral.
Just me and Canada?
Me and Canada. D-Negs, you are in rough shape, mate. Not anymore. Daniel Negreanu flopping trips. Daniel Dvoris with the nut flush draw. 560 in the middle already. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. Hand number 3 of this 50k. Note the stack to pot ratio. Around 4.
160.
Dvoris going to continue for small. In the form of quarter pot. Man, D-Negs just gonna click it. Clicks it to 360. And I was speaking to D-Negs. Went to pick him up from the airport. He's telling me about some of this new funky stuff he'd been working on, and I gotta admit, I'm a big fan of this. I mean, you could get Dvoris to just pile here. Although Dvoris blocking some of the King Jacks, Jack 10s of the world. That may try and get a sneaky one through. Yeah, Daniel was telling me how he's been coming with, you know, some limps, some like 4.5x, just taking some really unorthodox lines, some quirky stuff. And look at this. Daniel Negreanu has leveled Dvoris into 3-betting on the flop to 800k.
Oopsie doopsie. Oopsie doopsie. I might be fucked here, but I'm not.
5 seconds.
All in.
All in.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, if you got it, you got it. Just what are you gonna do, right? At this point, you got to play to win. All of it.
How much is it? Can you get a count?
Let's see. Okay, we got
Announces all in.
That he asked, right? Because then he probably doesn't have a queen. One, raise.
Daniel fading the snap call. Absolutely loving this.
No, you can't. You have to pause the clock.
Yeah, he gets it at 20. So that's 1.6, 1.9. This is more than I thought. Okay, 2 million.
He could effectively increase the stack by over 50% without seeing a turn or river. Dvoris just going to run the numbers in his head. Chat, I do apologize. I'm so confused. I didn't hear call announced or anything. Cards are on their backs. The dealer didn't say call.
I'm trying to calm myself because I have PTSD being all in.
This is a chip lead pot.
Stress disorder. Okay.
Ace on the turn. Changes nothing, although Dvoris does pick up an additional 2 outs. Ace or a spade needed for Daniel Dvoris. And there it is, 6 of spades, corner pocket.
Nobody would believe me, I promise you. Nobody. would believe me of how like I could feel that one. I could feel it.
6 of
Yeah.
spades, corner pocket, and we're going to lose Daniel Negreanu.
All right, so we see 2 nines go with the limp.
實際都唔過死佬咁緊啊！
真嘅實際。唔係我諗咁耐做咩啫？
That's one of the hands Jeff we were discussing yesterday. 2 nines, obviously a far cry from 2 nines in regular hold'em.
Yep.
暫時佢有個掣嘅。
Aaron overcalling a very playable Queen 10.
而家冇跳咗而家。
有時個掣跳下跳下。
The wheel's spinning for tie.
Yeah, he's gonna go for it here. Pop up the A7, put pressure on Paul and Aaron. That's one of those hands, Jeff. If he gets a limp jammed on holding A7, he can quite happily just let that one go.
Yep.
No damage done. Paul with 2 nines, it's just going to be hard to continue, right? For what is
275.
10% of his remaining stack.
Similar to Hold'em, though, it is, I guess, pretty. It's kind of like, all right, I hit a 9 or not, and maybe get a full double if you think that player has. The problem is when players are messing around or whatnot, you're gonna get, it's not just like, oh, so simple that he has aces or kings or queens. Aaron now.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, such a playable hand like Queen 10 of spades, obviously gonna come in and make this 3-way.
Yeah. Oh.
There it is.
Door card.
Wow, what a flop.
Oh my goodness, this is like the third or fourth time we've seen a door card set that's like.
But this is the spot, right, in this game. It's basically a flip. You see the percentages there, flop straight against a set.
Oh, and actually, Ty is. Oh no, he's got 0%. But in his mind, he actually has a 6 or a 10.
Right.
So he's somehow open-ended with this.
Yeah, he's got the
Which
double
is
gutter.
actually a pretty good flop for his hand. I mean, I guess the 10 though, he can't count as good. Like, I mean, he would be against the bigger straight in his mind most of the time.
I think what it looks for Paul's going to lead out here. And I think that's reasonable in a 3-way pot. Jeff, Aaron's going to have a piece of this quite often, having taken it 3-way pre-flop.
So Aaron now with the nuts, thinking, is there merit to raise? Would that make sense, or would I just call? I mean, he's got the stone cold nuts.
Right, it's only 800k more when he raises, isn't it? I think you can just jam here and know you're always getting the action. Can't imagine a hand bet, Paul bets 500 and folds for 800 more.
Is there any merit to calling though to get maybe Ty to get involved? Or I guess Ty's going to get.
When Ty has exactly this hand, it seems like a gin scenario, right? You get Ty to call drawing dead, but there's a flip. Jeff, look at that, 49%, 49%.
Yeah, literally the same hand versus Makita, where we saw actually reversed. Aaron had the set against the draw, and he turned quads, as a matter of fact, to just end the hand. And this time,
there it is.
Oh.
Pair it up straight away. And make
quads.
Quad.
Yeah.
Unlucky Aaron.
There, very successful tournament player, and that is a nice hand with 2 aces. Gonna limp in. You want to be balanced again. Limp your Jack 10s, King 10s, and means you gotta, if you just raise only when you have aces and kings, it's pretty easy to play against. So it goes with the limp. Hoping someone wakes up with ace king or kings, squeezes. If not, you go multi-way and realize that a lot of boards are gonna get out of the way. Look at this. Like, here's a hand on the button, Jack 10 suited, which is actually flipping against aces essentially. Could have squeezed for sure, but does take it. He's in position. Such a pretty hand. And we'll go to a flop. Flush is really hard to make, and look at that. As we said, it's a very pretty hand. It's a flip against aces, and he flops the straight. I don't know why it says 45% for Michael when Richard has straight. I don't understand that. I guess to fill up. Not sure on that. That's a bit confusing to me because I would think that the player in the lead would have the lead.
Oh, 到我啊 sorry 啊 He said fold. You didn't know it's this. 我喺喐籌碼諗住諗緊。
Yeah, I mean, that might be an error. I'm just not sure why I would say that Richard, who has a straight, is behind. And 2 kings are even not available to make a boat there. So a lot of his outs gone. I think he's thinking, should I raise? Should I call? I mean, loses to only Jack 10. Goes for just a call. Makes sense. So queen is the most available card. It says 50-50. There's a dud. Richard going to have the best hand still.
Set
This is
set against 10 Jack 10.
like 10.
And Paul knows the situation already. Look at that.
Told you, they're hard to win with.
It is.
I didn't have any of that. A whole bunch left. It's
Showing
like a flip.
Showing the outs. You saw a couple of those kings were gone though. And Jack 10 for Richard Young gonna win.
FIFA, I tried to raise. Raise also.
Yeah, same thing. You win.
Same call. You a lead. You not a bit.
Yeah,
10
Two of the prettiest hands. We were just mentioning aces to Jack 10 suited. The equity is pre-flop.
A little deep chip. Gotta figure.
Ivy limiting Jack 9 of clubs. White kid checking Queen 8 of clubs on the button.
A lot of clubs. And
Hello.
wow, I was just gonna say it's almost
Hello.
impossible to see club
Oh.
over club, but this is a
Double gut shot for Wykin with the better
Crazy
flush
spot.
draw. Phil pair and flush draw.
wow. This is spelling a lot of trouble for potentially Phil. A really good card though. Look, he jumps into the lead now all of a sudden.
Right, Brit comes means his jack's still good. Remember, guys, flush beats a full house in this game. If this comes a club, we're still going to see carnage.
Wow.
Well, we're not seeing carnage, we're seeing a queen. So Wykin takes the narrowest of leads, queens and tens.
Phil
That
Ivey.
had all the making, Jeff,
Yeah.
for a big pot.
And Phil's actually, it's interesting enough that he's going to bet. This is not.
Right.
Both don't like these runouts, but with
bet
Queen
pot as
8,
well.
this is a great bet, and this is actually, you know, if you're watching at home, you see the runout, you go, oh man, it's been unlucky, or Phil's gonna end up losing this hand. But you know, it's like if you're Wyking Young,
Right.
what are you gonna do? You got a queen, you beat like nothing.
Right. And it makes sense. Phil can definitely have hands like King 10 and Queen 10. One with full house, one's a straight. You can have King Jack.
Yeah.
And he's been
Also,
looking.
you sleep on the stream.
It's true.
You insomnia.
Paul did say it.
I fixed it now. The aircon was shit before. The aircon better now.
Oh, in the room?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine works too. I don't really know what I did.
My suite room, the temperature adjustment in the toilet one only. I don't know why.
Interesting, Nicholas completing with a short stack. But he does do that. Seth the same with Queen 6 suited. Danny ace 7 of clubs, and now Paul King Queen of diamonds is going to do the same. John with a pretty braggy ace A off. Reason to believe there aren't that many strong hands out here.
Check.
Ah, there's no whole card, huh?
Yeah, there is.
There is?
You got a box somewhere.
Oh.
Your chips are probably on the box.
No, I saw
But he
I can't see
does
the box.
check,
Yeah.
and
Obvious,
we're going to go
but I can see
5-way
seconds.
to the first flop with our new cast on the feature table. King 9-7, couple of diamonds, huge flop for Paul. Top pair and diamonds, and of course Nicholas also finding a big flop with his set of 9s. All right, let's check it around to Paul, who surely going to bet this one. Pays 50k, and again, very odd that Nicholas decided to check. Oh, he does have more than the graphics suggest. That would be why. I thought this pan was playing a little odd. So he has about 100k more than it suggests.
You.
Paul, of course, gonna call.
Last stroke, 5 out.
Yeah, Nicholas is 128, not 28.
Jack 10. Flush, yeah.
Paul pairs up. Pardon me, hits a diamond. Needs to avoid a pair up on the end. He does just that. And Nicholas, first hand at the feature. Back off to the blind desk if he wishes to continue.
997就係偷雞㗎啦，呢個係。
泥巴應該。
真的 worst hand 啊？真的 worst game 呢個你講咩啊 ？turn 咩啊？真的 worst game 嘅哦。用咗3個太兵啊！呢排射入
你好想 rebuy 咩？
都有做。
你好想 rebuy 咩？
哇係喎，惡嘅。冇得 rebuy 啦，唔係確夠你啦。no rebuy
呢個仲可以 rebuy 嘛？
都要吞。
要擠晒入去。
贏過 this guy。
Okay, we see Paul with the aces. He is gonna go ahead and raise. Doesn't see a lot of. Wow, very curious ace-9 off call by this sizing. He's got a ton of chips. Oh, I'm sorry. This. Okay, on the never mind. I see the call. That makes sense. Top 2. And Paul did execute the trap, so he limps in the aces. Goes for a big bet. If the diamonds get home, he's going to check. Sam certainly could have a flush. He blocks flushes. He's got top 2. Paul definitely, I think, more weighted to ace-king, ace-queen here, how this hand's played out when he, and I think Sam's going to go ahead and bet. Target those hands. Makes a ton of sense. Pretty unlikely to think your opponent has aces. Paul's not going anywhere. Does lose to a flush. This opponent shouldn't have 7s. The problem is if you have trips and the flush is there, you're losing to. He can't improve. A full house does not beat a flush. Sam was actually the unfortunate member of that confrontation where it was ace or king 8 of clubs versus Phil Ivey's quad aces when he had the nuts basically other than quads on that board. And Paul in another tough spot here. Although you beat the 2 pairs. It's really tricky. He's gonna call, go to a river here. Sam drawing dead, can't know it. This is a clean card. I think non-diamond. This is one that is not gonna scare Paul. And if he thought he had the best hand, he's gonna do it again. I think Greenwood, he realizes ace king is a viable option. So I don't know what he's gonna do here, but maybe he thinks, yeah, okay. So he's very curious on this, and nice hand from Paul. Greenwood gonna lose a pot all the way up to 710,000.
Seth and Danny both complete. Paul, Queen Jack of Diamonds in the cutoff. This is a very strong hand in this game. He completes. John will check his option with 7s, taking us 4-way to the flop. And well, ace 9 8 eventually rolls off. Action for sure. Seth with top 2, Danny top and bottom, Paul with a gut shot straight draw and that queen high flush draw, and they both check it on over to the man with the draw. $30 the bet, of course. John with a gut shot to the wheel. Can't get involved.
Thank you.
Seth with decision. Check raise now, just call. Allow Paul to continue bluffing. If he were to just call, I'm sure you get a dream scenario of Danny coming back over the top of him. Does indeed come out with the check raise. Not that's going to worry Paul too much with that combo draw. But it's Danny, the one who will now be in an interesting position, holding top and bottom on a jewelry board. Glance to his left, does have to worry about Paul. Makes the call now. Paul trying to piece this together. It's very hard for Paul Danny to have aces. Seth can, having opened it up with a limp. 6-7 unlikely. And Paul does decide just to continue with a little bit of caution with this big draw. Does have position, remember, in a three-way pot. Not a bad spot to be at all. King on the turn. Very good card for Seth to see. Seth a little concerned about Danny cold calling, Paul raising and calling. I piece together what two hands he can beat. What's the best course of action? Seth knows if he gets this wrong, he's probably drawing dead. If he gets it right, probably only a small favourite.
All in.
Does move in, and it's a pretty grim spot for Danny with Paul behind. I think he puts Paul on a pretty strong draw. Not rejammed the flop. Has to therefore give, I think, Seth credit for having the made hand. Some of Seth's bluff, perhaps. Hands like Jack 10 of clubs. Picked up this extra equity and jammed. Certainly taking a long time. In my mind, the real decision comes behind Paul. Folds and one sizing Paul didn't want to see was the all in. That's scored 478 to win 800. Not getting the price with this draw.
What the fuck you have? Flush draw? No more flush draw.
That is what
冇牌
Paul is worried about.
，10隻咯呢個牌，兩副牌咯。
That Danny had some of his outs.
兩啤啊？
Danny had a weaker flush draw.
心跳啊！呢個牌
Thank you.